Hi everyone. At this point, everyone should have learned how to organize your folders, name your files, resize your pictures for web delivery. And I just want to mention this one first photo is at 1.2 megabyte, which is too big for, especially for the size that we have. So always check the size. And my guess is that the resolution was not downsized. So if I go to image size, you'll see that it's set to inches. So if I change this to resample, change this to pixel, that picture is actually is 1920 by 1080, and we wanted it to be 600 by 390. So if I change that to 600, actually should be, I would need to change the height to 390, and then this I'm gonna have to go say okay and go to canvas size and cut the width to 600. So it's very important to check your work, like there. So as you could see, as soon as I resized it, it changed it to 190 kilobytes. This is really important because it shows how quickly your files would download online. But Carlton has done a great job, except with that resizing of the one picture to embed a YouTube video, to add a photo, and to add a map, and to add an email link. So this is great, and also to add headings for different parts of the web page. But as you could see, the structure is not very design oriented. It's more information based. And now we're going to move into creating our very first web page based on the Wix template that you created from last week and the research you've done over the past couple of weeks. And I'm going to show you again an example of one of the students. So for this Monday, you're going to be doing your mood board. You already should have done your should have selected a site from Wix, should have created your sitemap, and should have created a wireframe based on the page that you've created, and can reference Victoria's page. I've posted it on the class download page just for reference. She's done a fabulous job here. And also your mood board must have the information listed on this template, and I've also uploaded the template on the class download page. And I've asked you to create 3 sets of color based on your selected color palette. She did 4, which is fine. And I also asked you to resize images based on it was one based on a banner that I'm going to teach you how to create. Already created a folder. So the folder, you want to make a brand new folder, call it your last name, project 1 round 1 design, web design round 1, web design 1, or web 1. And then you want to have all the pictures that you've resized inside of that folder. And I have, if you do Command I, you'll see that my images are at 1280 by 450 in RGB. So I already have my photos here in this folder. And now again, make sure you name the folder, make sure you put the project 1 round 1 on the title of the folder, and and now we're going to start the first step, which is launching Dreamweaver. And when you're doing this process, make sure that you do not have Dreamweaver open. That's very, very important. So let's go ahead and open up Dreamweaver. So the first thing you're gonna notice is that you're gonna see a manage site pop up, which means Dreamweaver does not know the location of your current folder. You want to click on manage site, and I'm gonna actually you can create a brand new site. For now, I'm gonna just show you how to delete like a site path. So right now I'm not going to be working with the exercises we've done for the past few weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and click the minus button to get rid of it. I'm going to actually get rid of this one too, just to clean things up a little bit, and clean this one too. And now I'm going to make a new site. And this one I'm going to say project 1 web design nonprofit. And I'm going to click on this folder and point to the site that I created, which is this one, the folder that I created. This is very important. These steps are extremely important because if you don't follow them, Dreamweaver basically is going to lose track of your files, and you're going to get pages with many empty question marks. Okay, so on purpose, I've added a couple of extra steps to the folder, which is something that we don't want to do. So I just want to show you how you would want to fix that if that happens. So you would simply get rid of the extra step or space that you've created, like that right there, and also right here. But then if you did that, you've kind of changed. Sometimes the program doesn't recognize the folder anymore, just like this one. You see how it disappeared. So if you made a mistake, or if you need to change the name of your folder for whatever reason, once you go and make those changes, which I just did because you're not supposed to have extra space in your naming convention, you need to go to site, manage site, and this time you want to click on the edit button, and you want to click on this folder again, and then you point to the folder that you just revised by getting rid of the spaces. So that is how you can rename your folder if you change it when the Dreamweaver is open, and so your links wouldn't break. So right now I don't have anything in that folder. I just have my this is my root folder that consists of just banner photos, not even images, and we're going to create that in a minute. So now I'm going to create my very first responsive design index homepage. Very important to follow the steps as I show you, and also in the order that I'm showing you. Okay, so as you can see, the only folder that we have in my root folder is the banner photos that I created, which we're gonna actually move in a minute. So please follow the steps exactly in the same order that I'm showing you, otherwise your files are not going to work correctly. You want to choose File, New. Make sure this is set to HTML. Make sure this is set to Bootstrap, which is a combination of JavaScript, jQuery, CSS for highly advanced, to create highly advanced interactivity. You want to choose Create New. So HTML, Bootstrap, New. If this is checked, you want to uncheck it. Choose Create. And you can see my page is already populated by different documents and JavaScript documents and jQuery documents, and up here you can see they all show up at the top. This is the source files. These are the Bootstrap, jQuery, and other files. At this point, you want to quickly save the file, save. And you want to save it as index. Remember, you want to just choose file, save, not save as. And you want to choose index. And again, it's going to know automatically to put it in your root folder. And as you could see, it also automatically added a CSS folder for you and a JavaScript folder for you. Now, as you could see, everything is populated in my local files, and if I go back and look at my root folder, they're also located here. And if you see an asterisk next to the title of your name, you want to make sure to click Command Save. The first thing I'm going to do is change my page title. Remember, white text is static, which means it doesn't contain links, which means that you can use capital letters, some special characters in the name, whereas in other areas where there code, you can't do that because different programs use those special characters as part of their language, programming language. I'm going to say project 01, whatever the name of non-profit is. You can add the name. Welcome to non-profit, whatever. Welcome to animal or the group. So whatever name you want to come up, you can just add it there. It's just that shows on the top of the browsers. Now, as you could see, we have we already know that this orange text means that there are going to be links, and we already know / implies a folder. So for example, this means that there's a CSS document residing in a CSS folder. And if I look here, you'll see that reference. And you don't want to change the name or the location, because if you did that, all the links will break and you would have to relink everything again. We also have links to the jQuery and so on. So one thing that is really important when you click on your source code is the HTML code that we're working on, and these are all href, means is a link pointing somewhere else in your root folder or on a web browser. So you really want to kind of get an understanding what some of these letters and special characters mean. So if I click my Bootstrap 4.41, at this point I cannot edit anything on this page. It's locked. In order for me to unlock it, I have to click Make Writable, and that is the Bootstrap 4.4.1. So you want to make sure to click that to avoid any other issues, and that's the only place, so it's only here that you want to make it readable. So that's step number 1. Again, you see a little asterisk here, command, quickly save your document, file save, and it goes away. Now I'm going to, so this is, you see this gray text here, that means that nobody can see this text but myself or the author. And you can put a lot of notes for yourself. I'm going to show you how to do that, because they become really complicated, some of these websites. And if you have special notes for yourself, then like if you forget certain things, you can reference to them. So as you saw, when we created our I'm going to go to display. When we created our initial web page, we added photos and we added maps, but it wasn't really aesthetically pleasing. Everything was floating on a page, which is definitely not what we want. We want, as web designers, you want to make sure to do the research, do the all the things that we've learned over the past 4 weeks. Find your audience, identify your personas, and then we're gonna kind of look at the design process, and then design our site. So the way that the website, that first page that you created, It's almost like when you're traveling. Let's say you're going somewhere and you just grab everything and carry it on your shoulders, and maybe wrap it around your waist, and maybe, you know, just randomly having it around your neck, versus when you're traveling and then you get a suitcase with compartments in it and organize your clothes and accessories. You know, we organize it and put it in a suitcase, and you take the suitcase where everything is together exactly where they need to be, you know, your accessories versus your, you know, clothing and so on. So that's what we need to do here. So we need to add a container, which is like a virtual suitcase. This container is going to contain every single thing we have on our website based on how and where we want to put them and position them. So we need to make sure that everything that is going to be in this container first needs to be inside of the body tag, because the body tag is where the viewers, you know, whatever you put here in between these two codes, the viewer, anyone who visits the website, would be able to see it, versus this head tag where it contains like CSS or jQueries that style your page and dictate the way your page would look like. So these are not visible except for the title. These are not visible to the viewer, but anything you put in here is going to be visible, and it needs to be within before the closing of your body tag. So I'm going to go ahead and choose insert. So we have the files, we have CSS libraries, we have these two are what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to click insert. We have a container and we have a container fluid. I want to add container fluid right by the body tag. So I can just grab this and put it below the body tag. And sometimes it moves it down. So I'm going to not do that. So let's see here. I'll try it again. There you go. I'm going to move up, right here. There we go. And actually I want a code to be above it, so I can Command X or Control X. But as you could see, this closing div tag is basically there's nothing, like it just automatically closes the div tag, whereas I need this tag, the whole thing with the opening and closing, Command Exit, I need it to be above the body, closing of the body tag. And you can see there's a red alert that appears, which means that during viewer says, oh, there is a tag missing. You have an opening tag, but there is not another tag here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure, press the return key and just paste the closing of the div tag. And as soon as I do that, this red alert disappears. I'm also going to add some notes here, so I'll simply copy the gray text, or if you want to add it manually, you can just choose this option with an exclamation mark on your left and choose apply HTML comments. So I could do either way, and I'm going to say opening of container tag. These comments are extremely valuable when you start adding a lot of content to your page, because you may have many like sub containers within your page, and you want to opening of closing of this one. I'm just gonna choose closing of main container. So but this is going to be my main container, and everything else basically it's going to be, you know, not the main one. So every single item that I need to add to my site has to be within this area before this tag, before this closing tag. I'm going to save. I'm going to click. So if I do here, you can kind of see, let's move out. You can see this is my container fluid. which is located in the body tag, and there's nothing in it, that's why I can't see anything. So let's add something here and let's make it fun. So I'm going to go ahead and add a carousel. Again, these are highly advanced functionalities, and once, you know, if I had to hand code this, it would take me many hours or even days. So these JavaScript and jQuery and CSS functions allows me to add content and spend my time in stylizing the page and make them aesthetically more beautiful. So figure out where you want to be on your page. I want to be in the container fluid section here, number 18, and I'm just going to click carousel, and automatically it should populate it right like this. And let's spend a little time just looking at what this is. So I have my carousel, which is inside a container. Now, if I click, I'm gonna just save. And let's go ahead and look at what we have here so far. I have a carousel with 3 slides. I have 3 areas of text that I can move around. And you kind of see that I really didn't have to do anything. And this is the power of jQuery, HTML, and JavaScript together that allows me to do these types of things quickly and easily without having to spend days on programming, because we're kind of a front-end designers in terms of we work mostly on the aesthetics. So as you saw, there's 3 sections to this. Basically, we have 3 slides. So the first top part, it just basically tells you, okay, the background color is gray. And let's say if I change this to black, you could see that it will change to black. And you have to preview that. Yeah, there we go. And then, or white. So you can just simply type that in there. And here are the 3 sections. And again, we're going to add some code. So the first one is identified as active. It says carousel item, active, and you could see it has the captions. And I could make it bigger, I could make this smaller. If I want to make it much larger, I could simply change this to H3. We'll do that as an example. And then you can change the titles. Remember, white text is static, so you can change it to whatever you like. So this is the active one, the first one. And you see that each one has 2 closing div tags. And the second one, same thing. I'm gonna leave that, maybe leave that so you can see the difference. And then the third one has 4 divs, because that's like the first div that's containing the whole carousel. This div is the main container. So let's say you want to add another div. I'm sorry, another image. So remember, it's only 3 here. 1, 2, and 3, the items. So if I need 4 of these placeholders, so what you want to do, you want to go to the middle one, the one that has the 2 closing divs, copy it, and paste it right underneath it. So now we have 4 sections. Another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to add some notes for myself. So I'm gonna just choose image 01 opening. Then this one is, I can copy this actually. Image 2. And this is not opening. This is just a regular. Then this one, remember, 2 divs, 2 closing divs, image 3, and finally image 4. So image 4 has 3 divs. So you want to just keep that in mind. And now I know that I have 4 divs, but I'm going to show you something quickly, that another step that we need to take. So I have 4 divs. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, but the indicators only show 3. So we need to do one other small thing. So those are the indicators. So as you could see, the indicator 1, 2, 3. So again, all I have to do is move. So the middle one, always work on the middle one. I'm going to copy this line, the LI data, and paste, and then simply change the 1 to 2 and change the last one to 3. So it's basically a lot of copying and pasting of the code once you know what you need to target. Again, always okay, I'm going to just add a comment here. Copy, that line, okay. So now if I save and if I preview this, you'll see that I have 4 indicators. Okay, the last part is I have my images, and as you could see, automatically it added like a carousel placeholder for me. I'm gonna go ahead and open it in Photoshop, and if I choose image size, you'll see that this is 600 by 400, whereas I want my carousel to be 1280, and it could be whatever you want, but for this exercise we're doing 1280, and I want it to be 1280 by 450. So I'm going to go ahead and say 1280, and I'm going to go to canvas size and just choose 450 and proceed and save. So you're just basically resizing it to the size of the pictures, the large pictures that you have at 72 dpi. So now I'm going to go back here, and if you refresh, you see that your entire page is now filled to the end, and you can even make it wider if you wanted to, or if you can get rid of this background by choosing white. So if I come back here, if I wanted that background not to be black, I can simply go back down here and change that option here. Right here. So if I wanted it to be white, I can just choose white, and I'll get rid of the background. So you didn't, okay. You have to make sure to save it and refresh, and now it's white. So always refresh and save. The last part of this tutorial shows you how to change the photos. And that's all you need to be doing for this week. So the images start at 0, like the first image is 0, then it goes to 1, 2, 3. I could name my files accordingly, but I'm gonna just leave it as it is. So at this point, I can do two things. I can simply click on these 4 pictures and move them to the images folder, or duplicate them. I'm just going to simply move them because I've already named the files how I want it. I just put it in the images folder so everything's together. Okay, now I can get rid of this folder if I wanted to, so I have less things to deal with. So the last part is adding the pictures. So I have the PNG, the first slide, but as you could see, I want to change the pictures that I've saved. I don't want a placeholder anymore. You can do it a couple of different ways. If you click on the actual name and making sure that you have your properties panel open, you should have a check mark next to it. You see where it says source file? You can click it and it'll direct you to that folder. And I could have maybe changed the name, but for now we're just gonna leave it as it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let's just change that quickly to 1. I had to delete one of the pictures because it was not big enough. So since we haven't really added them to our page, it's the best time to rename them before you add it to your HTML page. So all I have to do is click up on this where it says, oh, you have images, carousel, placeholder, PNG. I'm going to click this folder. It says that's the source file. I'm going to choose the first one. And you can give it IDs, and we can add some other options to it. So my first image, whatever you need to do, and then second one you would do the same. Image 2. I'll show you another way for the last 2. So the 3, another way I could simply copy the name of the picture and then come back here, highlight this, delete it, and then paste it. Same as last one. So you can do it through the panel right here. Probably may be easier. You may have to click like twice on it to see the source of the picture. Then you click that, and I think that's the last one. 3, 4. And if you hover over the picture, you're going to be able to see a preview. So if you don't see a preview, it means that you didn't do it correctly. I'm going to go ahead and save. And you can just add like a couple of comments, you know, where instead of first slide, maybe lion, you know, something unique to that picture. So if I save, close, and I'm going to refresh. Oops. You see that I have my first slide, second slide, third slide, and fourth slide. So this is how you create your very first responsive design web page, and this is how you add a carousel to your page and modify the carousel.